Good morning everyone. This is your subject physical education of class 12 and this is your lecture number 6 from chapter number 5. Name of the chapter is Children and Women in Sports, and here we are also going to discuss the answers of questions which were given in the homework from lecture number 5. So we are going to start with sports participation of women in India, and here we are going to discuss it how things do have changed and what all were the reasons that the participation of women in sports is low as compared to men participation. So we are going to start with the all over development and the growth which actually took place. So here we will be discussing in detail about the women's participation in field of sports. At a global level, the number of women participation in the field of sports was very limited before 1970. During Asian times, the situation was worse. Why? Because at particular point of time when Olympics actually started, women were not even allowed as a spectator in the stadium. But the number of women participants at the international level has increased extensively during the last 4 decades. So for like these 30-40 years back, now gradually actually it is like starting increasing the number of participants, women participants in sports. It is evident in the Olympics, World Cups, Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, European Championships, etc. But even then, the number of women participants in sport is still less in comparison to men, as I said earlier, especially in India. So there are several games and sports where now the participation of women from all over the world is like increased, but still from India that participation is has not increased to a good number. So we are going to start with the reasons of less participation of women in sports. The first one is lack of legislation. In 1972, the legislation was passed in the United States of America, in which a provision was made to provide financial aid to all the educational institutions. As a matter of fact, this legislation was passed to prevent discrimination and to provide equal opportunities to women to participate in sports at all levels. Equal facilities were mandated to provide in sports to women as in the case of men. As a result of this resolution, the participation of women in sports were enhanced evidently. That means that because of this kind of legislation, more financial aid or more facilities were provided to the educational institutions, because of which both men and women get equal opportunities to participate in games and sports, equal opportunities, facilities, grounds of equipments of coaches were also given to women also, and because of these facilities which were provided, there was an increase in the participation of women. But when we talk about India, there are these lack of such kind of legislations. The central government and as well as the state government does not provide a lot of financial aid to educational system, because of which we have less facilities in games and sports. It is for both men and women, but as we know that this is a men dominating society, so most of the time boys or men get a lot of opportunities or facilities as compared to women in India, and that is why there is this less participation of women in India. Second one says lack of time. Majority of women usually have less leisure time than men because they take on greater responsibility for household work. For some of them, full-time jobs to earn a living. Therefore, due to lack of time, they do not participate in such activities. So, women in India do have a lot of household work where they have to cook, they have to do a lot of work which is related to their houses, and some of them are also doing their jobs because they wanted to earn for their living. So they get a very less time for all such kind of activities. They also get very less time to participate in games and sports, and this is the reason why there is this less participation. Next is lack of self-confidence. Owing to social pressure, women tend to have less self-confidence in comparison to men. Indeed, self-confidence is also linked to sports competitions. Now, because of our society and there's a lot of pressure, so there are a lot of women those who don't feel confident in doing anything, and it also goes same with games and sports also, and they don't take participate in games and sports because they don't have that confidence in taking participate. Fourth one is male dominated culture of sports. A culture of sports is perceived to be male dominated. Some women seem to hesitate to take part in sports activities because in this society we have this culture that games and sports to be played or to be participated by male normally. That is why there are several women who actually hesitate in participating in games and sports. The fifth point is lack of interest of spectators and no coverage of women's in sports. So you might have seen that there is less coverage by the media of the games which are played by women, and you might have seen on all over the many of the sports channels we have men's cricket everywhere, or hockey or football or other games, but there is less of women games which are shown in the TV or in your newspapers. There are less news or comments over the women cricket or women hockey or several other games which are related to women. So because of which spectators do not have this knowledge about these games, and yes, this is the main reason why they have less interest also, because they don't know much about it. Sixth point says that lack of female sportsperson as role model. Each and every one of us needed to have a role model to do something, where we see someone doing something and we get interest into it and we feel like doing the same thing or doing something which is which have the similar kind of a standard or levels. But because there are less people in India, or less women in India who participate in games and sports, that is why we have less number of role models to whom we can actually follow. So there are a few sports person as role models. There is PT Usha, Kadam Maleshwari, Sania Mirza, Saina Nehwal, MC Mary Kom, Mithali Raj, PV Sindhu, etc. But they are not popularized on TV or other media. In fact, they did not get their due place on TV as a role models. Even proper space is not allocated to the achievement of such women players in various newspapers and magazines. If the number of such epic women sportspersons is increased, they are popularized on TV and other media, then the participation of women in the field will definitely be enhanced. So if this importance will be given to them, then obviously there will be an enhancement in this participation of games and sports of girls and women. So the lack of fitness and wellness movement. Now due to lack of fitness and wellness movement, women's participation in sports is less. We are well aware of the fact that sports and games play an effective as well as significant role in development of fitness and wellness. Though nowadays few women have this awareness and they take the benefit of games and sports, but still there are a lot of women who do not take benefit of these games and sports. They don't try, they don't participate in games and sports, and do not have a good, healthy or fit body or lifestyle. Eighth one is lack of awareness among women. A lot of false notion prevail due to lack of awareness, and some become victims of baseless and imaginative misconceptions rampant in our society. Now, like for example, it is considered that women who participate in sports face a number of problems at the time of childbirth, or they say that women, those who participate in games or sports, have problem in their pregnancies, or they have their problems in their periods or menarche, which we call, or menopause. So however, this is far from being true. This is not a true thing. There are various misconceptions prevailing in our society, such as bone of women who participate in sports become weak and their femininity is also at risk. In fact, these are only thoughts which are not based on any fact. These wrong ideas limit women from participating in sports because they are not fully aware about the positive things of participating in games or sports. That's why they just don't participate on their own. Next is less number of women in sports. So less number of women in sports in India is also one of the reason of less participation of women in sports. If the number of women coaches enhance, there will be definitely an increase in the women's participation in sports and games. As a matter of fact, women may feel comfortable in the company of female coaches, and they will take part in the sports wholeheartedly without any hesitation. So it will be easier for women, those who are going to begin participating in games and sports or in training programs, if there will be a woman coach for them, because they will feel much more comfortable in participating in training sessions, in sharing their thoughts with a woman coach. But as the women coaches are less in number, that is why the women are more uncomfortable in participating in such games and sports, and because of which the participation is less and women do not perform in a very well way. 10th point is attitude of society towards women participation in sports. The attitude of society plays a vital role towards women participation in sports. In male-dominated society, the views of male sportsperson about female sportsperson are definitely regressive. They are not good. They feel that women are more likely should be in the household work, or not only household, but okay, if they are also going out for jobs and everything, still games and sports is not a kind of thing for them. You might have seen many movies which are made on them, where society has backed down the women for not participating in games and sports. So many of the women just don't participate because of the society, or how the society actually feels. It is said, why don't they stay in kitchen where they belong? Masculinity and femininity are given a definition by our own society. There is actually no link of masculinity or femininity with the participation of sports. 11th is lack of personal safety. Nowadays, you might have heard about a lot of rapes or abuses which do happen with a lot of women on roads, on malls, or on grounds, on different levels. So, because of this lack of this personal safety, women hesitate in performing, or for going to stadiums, or for going for some tournaments all alone to participate. So personal safety on the road, street, public transport, and in around sport venues is a common problem for women who want to participate in sports. They may be an easy target of bullying and abuse. Traveling to and fro from sports stadiums or complexes may be dangerous for women. Usually they do not feel safe. Due to this reason, parents discourage them to participate in sports. 12th point is the lack of proper access to facilities. There is a lack of proper access to facilities provided to women in the field of sports. Facilities in terms of equipments, training, coaching, etc. They are not usually provided to women as done in case of men. Hence, the participation of women remains low. Generally, women do not have adequate playing equipments or facilities near their homes, which make it more difficult for them to participate in sports. Because as I said, it is all a mixed thing. The mixed factors are there, because there is lack of safety, the lack of coaches, and there are a lot of things. They don't get good financial aid, they don't have good access to facilities. That is why there is this lack in participation of women in games and sports. So now we are going to start with special consideration, menarche and menstrual disorder. So as a matter of fact, the female participation in the field of games and sports has shown remarkable increase during the decades. This change has been noticed not only in India but across the world. But on the other hand, a large part of population still has an opinion that sports and games are not directly linked to women. Women are not expected to be muscular, robust. Robust means strong and healthy, aggressive and dominant. So women are expected to be a person who is very calm, polite, who have this feminine kind of a characteristics. They are not aggressive, they are not dominate, they are like not dominating in the society. They should not be muscular, or they should not have very aggression, or they should not be very strong. They should be very soft, polite, calm kind of a person. So because of this expectations, there are a lot of problems in the participation. Many people opine or have this kind of opinion that women have different anatomical and physiological structures and capacities which are not suitable for sports activities. So there are a lot of people who think that because of the anatomical or biological structure, or how they are actually made, or how their different systems actually work, the women's are not, they don't have a suitable body for participating in games and sports. They even say that participation in sports leads to various problems during menstruation, pregnancy and menopause. In order to evade the misconception and myths, let us study the relationships of these biological processes and women's participation in sports. First is menarche. So menarche is the first period of first menstrual bleeding that a young girl has. Menarche usually occurs approximately at the age of 12. However, it can happen as early as during at 8 or 9 also, and it might be like come or happen at the age of like 16 or 17 as well. However, women with delayed menarche may succeed in sports such as gymnastics, because at that period of time your flexibility is good. Those women who have early menarche may have advantage in sports such as swimming and rowing, because they get more adipose tissues or adequate weight. So it is wrongly said that if you have menarche or if you have these kind of problem, then you cannot participate in games and sports. You can actually participate in any kind of game and sports, even if you have started with your first periods or the menstrual bleeding is started. Next is your menstrual dysfunction. So it is a disorder or irregularity of women's menstrual cycle. In other words, it can be defined as an abnormal bleeding during your cycle. So normal cycle varies from your 21 to 35 days. It flow lasts approximately 2 to 7 days. So irregularities seem to be higher in women athletes in comparison to non-athletic women. Now the menstruation and sports participation. Earlier, most of the people used to believe that participation in sports during menstruation could be physiological harmful, though it is not actually the same. We don't have any kind of physiological harm if we participate in games or sports while we are going through our menstruations. Second, recent studies conducted in this field show that there has been no basis or evidence of dysmenorrhea, that is painful menstruation, or any consequence as a result of intensive participation in sports. So people, those who actually participate in sports, the women, have less painful menstruations. In fact, there has been recent reports to indicate complete absence of menstruation in women who usually get trained for long duration in running. So yes, people or women, those who actually do intensive workout, might have this absence of menstruation for some time. Fourth point, some studies indicate that sports participation is beneficial in relieving pain and preventing dysmenorrhea. That means if a woman is participating in games and sports or doing any of the physical activity, there will be less pain while she is having her menstruation. Even research studies show that a small number of women participating in sports experience dysmenorrhea in comparison to non-participants. So they can also say that there is a very small number of women, those who are athlete, do have painful menstruations as compared to women, those who are larger in number, those who are not participating in sports and having a lot of painful menstruations. Some studies also indicate that there is no specific effect of sports performance during all phases of menstrual cycle, because international records have been set in all stages of menstrual cycle. So there is no such direct or there is no such relation between a menstruation and your performance. So if you are into that particular cycle also, if you have your periods also or menstruation also, still there will be no problem in performing any of the sports with some difficulty or with some problem, so you can easily participate. Seventh point, research studies also show that women's strength decreases a few days prior to menstruation and continues to remain at slightly lower level throughout the menstrual period. So because of menstruation, there is this decrease in strength few days prior, few days before your menstruation starts, and it will continue throughout the your menstruation periods gets over. But if we look upon the women, those who actually participate in games and sports, then they will have less problem because of it as compared to women those who do not participate in games and sports. So in conclusion, it can be said that there is no impediment, that is a hindrance or obstruction, or you can say a barrier, to a sportswoman to engage even in competitive sports on any day of the month. Menstruation is not a problem in the way of achieving top performances. Now we are going to start with another subtopic, which is your female athlete triad, which is osteoporosis, amenorrhea, and eating disorder. So female athlete triad is a syndrome in which osteoporosis, amenorrhea, and eating disorders are included, and it is simply known as triad. Means there are three disorders or three problems which are related to female athletes. That is why it is known as your female athlete triad, because of the three problems. The triad is a serious disorder or illness with lifelong health consequences and can be fatal. So it might also in future it might also lead to fatal or death. So it do have a very lifelong or a chronic health consequences, because of which there are a lot of problems. In fact, it is a syndrome of three interrelated conditions. So all these three conditions are interrelated. If a woman athlete is suffering from any one condition of the triad, it is likely that she may also be suffering from the other two conditions of the triad. So as a matter of fact, we all know that sports and physical exercise is a very important part of our life, and it actually makes our body balanced and healthy. And it is also observed that individuals, those who indulge themselves in games and sports, do have a very good health. They are much more alert and they are physically fit, and they are less likely to experience depression or any kind of problem. Some women who take part in games and sports intensively may be at risk of female athlete triad. A woman athlete may show one or two or all the three conditions of the triad. With the increase in women participation in sports, the chances of women triad also enhances. Now some of the symptoms of triad. The first one is your fatigue. Then there is frequent injuries, loss of endurance and power, irritability, increased healing time for injuries, enhanced chances of fracture, cessation of menstrual, and low self-esteem. And the gravity of these symptoms or severity of these symptoms may vary. Along with this, the occurrence of these symptoms depends on the conditions of triad. Now the first one is your osteoporosis. It refers to decreased bone mineral density. As you can see from the picture also, the bones are much more porous if you have osteoporosis. It is a skeletal disorder. It is one of the significant triad of female athlete. As a matter of fact, healthy athletes tend to have higher bone density than their non-athletic counterparts, as physical and weight-bearing exercises have beneficial effects on bone and density. Now there are some factors which causes osteoporosis. The first one is insufficient calcium in the diet. As we know, calcium is a very important nutrient which helps in growth and development of a bone. So the main cause of osteoporosis is the insufficient intake of calcium in the diet. In fact, 100 milligram calcium should be included in daily diet by the woman athlete. In addition to calcium, vitamin D should also be included because it is essential for absorbing calcium in our body. Second cause is amenorrhea. Women suffering from menstrual dysfunction or amenorrhea for more than 6 months are likely to face osteoporosis because the secretion of the hormone called estrogen is decreased in this condition. This hormone is necessary for the absorption of calcium in the body. So it is like interrelated. Because of amenorrhea, there is this less secretion of estrogen, and because there is this problem, the calcium is not absorbed properly, and again the bones are not strong or they are not healthy. That is why it turns out to be osteoporosis. If calcium is not absorbed in our body, there will be less amount of calcium in our body, which may lead to osteoporosis. The third is eating disorders. So eating disorders like anorexia and bulimia may also cause osteoporosis because the calcium intake will be less or insufficient. In fact, not getting sufficient amount of calcium can also have a lasting effect on how strong a woman's bones are in a later part of life. So eating disorders may also lead to osteoporosis among women athletes. So from the first topic itself, you might have understood that 3 were osteoporosis, amenorrhea and eating disorders, and 2 factors which causes osteoporosis is amenorrhea and eating disorder. So all 3 of these are actually interrelated. Next is your amenorrhea. So it is a menstrual disorder or illness in women where girls of 18 years or above either never begin menstruations or there is an absence of menstruation for 3 or more than 3 months, that in women with a history of normal menstruation cycle. So if you have understood, so there might not be any start of menstruation in a girl, or if a girl is already having her normal menstruation cycle, but after some time she goes under this problem where her menstruation cycle does not start for 3 months or more than 3 months. Types of amenorrhea. There are 2 types of amenorrhea. The first is primary, which is it is characterized by the delayed menarche, which is the onset of first period during puberty. That means the very first cycle when it does not start, that is your primary. And in secondary, when a woman who has natural menstrual cycle at specific time and then stop menstruating for 3 or more than 3 months, then it is known as your secondary amenorrhea. The factors are hormonal changes. Some hormonal changes such as the change in the output of gonadotropic hormones may lead to amenorrhea. In fact, this hormone actually stimulates the growth of gonads or secretion of sex hormones. This hormone actually plays a vital role in stimulating estrogen release from ovaries. If it does not release estrogen, the menstrual cycle gets disrupted or stops in women, causing amenorrhea. So second one is your intensive exercise. There are maximum chances of amenorrhea in female athletes, especially in long distance runners, swimmers and gymnasts. In fact, such athletes do intensive exercise and training, which usually leads to decrease in estrogen, which is mainly responsible to regulate the menstrual cycle in females. This was the first factor which we actually read about. So as a fact or as a result, a woman's period may become irregular or stop. Intensive exercises may lead to primary as well as a secondary amenorrhea. Third one is intake of less calories. If a woman athlete takes less number of calories in comparison to her requirement, she may suffer from amenorrhea. In fact, intake of insufficient calories may lead to decrease in estrogen hormones, which helps to regulate the menstrual cycle. Consequently, menstrual cycle may become irregular or stop altogether. The third one or the last one is our eating disorders. Now, most of the girls with female athlete trial try to lose their body weight as a way to improve their performance in the field of games and sports, because they feel that if they will be having excess weight, then they will not be able to perform properly. In order to lose weight, they may practice unhealthy control methods, including restricted food intake, self-induced vomiting, consumption of appetite suppressants and diet pills, and use of laxatives. Many girls denied their eating disorders due to embarrassment, shame, fear of losing control of their dieting regimen, and a mistaken belief that excessive weight loss enhances sports performance. These eating disorder can be fatal. The first one is your anorexia nervosa. In this eating disorder, the female athletes think only about food, dieting, and body weight all the time. They have distorted body shapes. Other individuals usually feel them that they are becoming thin, but they don't believe it. And whenever they stand in front of a mirror or when they observe themselves, they actually feel that they are still obese or they are still fat. So what they do is they eat, they actually stop eating. Second one is your bulimia nervosa. It is also an eating disorder in which a female athlete eats excessive amount of food and then vomits it in order not to gain weight. So because they have this in mind that they will gain weight of whatever they're eating, so they eat a lot of food and then they vomit it. In this disorder, an individual beans on food and feels a loss of control. Then to prevent weight gain, tries to vomit the food. The homework for this lecture. Question number 1 is explain any 3 reasons for less participation of women in sports. Question number 2 is what do you mean by menarche? Question number 3 is what do you mean by bulimia? Question number 4 is what do you mean by amenorrhea? Discuss any 2 factors which enhances the chances of it. Now the answers of the questions from lecture number 5. Question number 1 was define bow legs. Explain the causes of bow legs. Answer, it is a condition in which there is a wide gap between the knees when standing with feet together. Causes of bow legs are deficiency of calcium, phosphorus and vitamin D in the diet and when a child is overweight. Question number 2 was write down the precautions to be taken for round shoulder. Answer is precautions to be taken are don't sit, walk or stand in bent position, avoid tight fitting clothes, avoid sitting on uncomfortable furniture. Question number 3 is explain any 2 corrective exercises for kyphosis. So corrective exercises for kyphosis are lie down on the back with knees drawn up and feet flat on the ground. Both hands should be at the side. Then move your arms sideways. Arms raised upward over the head, hold in this position. Next is lie down in a prone position with hands on your hips. Now raise your head and trunk several inches from the ground, hold in this position. Number 4 was explain any 2 corrective exercises for scoliosis. Corrective exercises for scoliosis are lie down in prone position, right arm should be upward and left arm at side. After that, move right arm towards the left overhead. Press down with left hand and then slide the left hip up. Stand erect with feet few inches apart. After that, raise the left heel and left hip. Extend right arm in an arc overhead to the left. Press left hand against the ribs on the left side. And this is the end of the lecture. Thank you.